Hello, my spectacles to desire is but the ghoul next door. Your favorite ghoul fiend. Hello, my spectacles to desire or the ghoul next door. Your favorite ghoul fiend. And I'm a little sunburnt today. That's why I don't like going out and I don't like going out in the daytime because I don't tan, I don't burn, I implode. Ugh. Okay, so this would be episode 11, and I am doing bingo task. Watch a haunted house movie. I had to stop and think for a second which one it was. Oh, I'm gonna be beat red through this whole thing, aren't I? So, watch a haunted house movie. I went with Good Boy. Came out last year, 2025, about the dog. All right, so we have the character of Indy, that's the dog, and his owner is sick. He's got, is it leukemia or something? He's got cancer. Anyway, so he's sick, and he decides that he's going to move into his grandfather's abandoned house, which is a farm. So he takes his dog, of course. The dog not quite understanding what's going on, but the dog doesn't like the house. There's something in the corners, in the shadows that keeps freaking him out, and the dog has nightmares of the previous owner, the dog. He's kind of seeing the in the nightmares. He's seeing both through the eyes of the grandfather's dog, as well as seeing what happened, bits and pieces of what happened to the grandfather and to the dog. Meanwhile, there's this mud ghost that keeps trying to invade the house. It's already kind of part of the house, but we don't really know why per se. The dog is terrified of the basement and it won't go down there. There's a scene where the owner, and we never really see too much of his face. It's kind of chest upward, so it's like the point of view of the dog. There's one scene where they're outside on the perimeter of the farm, kind of in this wooded area, and the neighbor comes up, and the neighbor is in full not combat, camouflage, full face camouflage and everything. And the neighbor tells him, like, oh yeah, I remember your grandfather well, and you know, keep track of where your dog is going because there's fox traps everywhere. And the dog also sees, I don't know if it's supposed to be a spirit guide or just another random ghost, but he sees a fox. The grandfather had been a taxidermist, so there is one scene where there's a taxidermy. Oh, there was a fox that the grandfather had done a taxidermy on. So I don't know if that kind of sparked something fear-wise in the dog, or if that was just supposed to be some clever foreshadowing, or what. We move quickly through all this. The only real dialogue is the owner on the phone with his sister, and we never see that. It's just a close-up of the phone with her name there, and it's her kind of worried about him. the dog there's one scene where the owner starts to see the shadow figures in the house and the ghosts, whatever you want to call it, and the dog is is that the scene? That's the scene where he bites him. Yeah, he's petting him, like he grabs the dog. The dog is laying on the floor. The owner sees this shadow ghost creature. He kind of throws himself on the other side of the bed on the floor and then grabs the dog, scares the crap out of the dog. The dog bites him. Then he gets mad and he puts the dog outside in a doghouse for the night, and there's a storm. There's this, I can't remember, did this scene come before or after? No, I think it came before. The dog tries to, again, the dog's name is Indy. So Indy keeps, he's outside and he tries to get inside. Does he try to get inside? No. He jumps out a window. And I can't remember if that was, why did he jump out the window? Oh, the owner's on the floor. The owner starts to sleepwalk and he falls down in front of the basement after smucking his head. And we see, as the viewers, from the dog's point of view, what looks like blood, but it's actually like ectoplasm just dripping down the door. And then when the owner wakes up, and you see it from the owner's point of view, when he turns to look at the door, there's just a little smudge of blood from where he cut his forehead. But then he like falls down and it has like a convulsion or something, or he just passes out. Can't remember. It's been a couple of days since I watched this, to be honest. I'm taping this on Tuesday. I watched this on Saturday, so don't remember a whole lot. But yeah, the dog, then he goes through the window and he lands outside and he goes down into the basement to try and get up into the house again. He's got to step over the corpse, the long dead bones corpse of the former dog who lived there, who he keeps seeing the ghostly visions of. There is okay, I think this might be the scene where the dog Indy comes in to his owner's bedroom. There's mud on the floor for a few brief seconds. The owner spits up blood and he lays there. And when the dog comes in, when the character of Indy comes in, we see pill bottles on the floor. And then we see the owner sit up. We finally kind of see his face. And the dog's looking at him, and then he looks towards the bed. He looks at him, he looks towards the bed. He tries to play with the dog. Indy has nothing to do with him. He goes and sits on the bed, and we realize who tried to, the owner is laying in the bed dead, and that was his ghost trying to play with the dog. Then the mud creature ghost, shadow creature, pulls the owner down into the basement, and there's just this giant hole in the wall, and the owner gets sucked in, and Indy tries to save him, tries to pull him out, but the owner says, no, this is my fate. I'm supposed to go, and you can't come with me. tells the dog to stay, and then all of a sudden he becomes the mud creature and disappears into the wall. And the dog, he's sitting there confused, and all of a sudden the basement door opens up, and it's the sister who all we've known of her is a voice on the phone. She's crying, and she tells the dog to come with her. The dog kind of hesitates, but then finally goes with her. And that's the end. That's it. I don't know. I'm almost wondering. I almost wanted to do another movie, because I don't know how much of that could really be considered a haunted house. It was listed as a haunted house movie, but I don't know how much of that could actually be considered a haunted house movie, and how much of it is just a supernatural movie. There's things left unanswered. So the grandfather had owned the house, and he had cancer as well, and he died in the house, and his dog was kind of left. So the owner of Indy, he has the same fate. What are the mud creatures? Are the mud creatures these shadow creatures? Because they start off as a shadow person coming out of the edge of the wall, and then they become these full-blown mud creatures, like they're just head to toe in mud. Are they supposed to represent the disease itself taking over? Because both of them had cancer. Is it supposed to be the disease itself manifesting in a physical form? Is it supposed to be the ghost of the grandfather who this had happened to as well, like coming to kind of collect him? Is it supposed to be a form of the Grim Reaper or a wraith or something? Is it just supposed to be a ghost in the house and they want them to join them? It's never quite explained. There's very little, well, there is dialogue. I can't say there's very little dialogue. There's not a ton of dialogue, but there is dialogue, but it's, oh, I'm getting warm now. Hot flash. Sorry. Menopause sucks. The hole in the wall, is it a portal to hell? Is it a portal to the other side? Is it something the grandfather was digging and they just happened to get in through this? Because it almost looks like a broken fireplace, but at the same time it looks like a well, if a well was like flipped on its side. It's not really explained, like, what is the hole in the basement? Is it man-made? Is it spiritual in nature? Like, is it just a convenient doorway for... We don't know. The like I said, the dialogue, which is mostly on the phone with the sister, it doesn't... I almost want to say some of it wasn't needed because it just kept repeating itself. It's just the sister asking him if he's okay, if he wants her to stop by. He always says no, he's doing fine, he's a lot better, and then he gets mad at her and he screams at her and he hangs up the phone, and then she calls back, and it's just repetitive and repetitive and repetitive. And I don't know how much of that was on purpose and how much of that was like just not really thinking things through. When I looked up to see if this actually was a haunted house movie, it was listed, like I said, it was listed as a haunted house movie. Thinking, okay, maybe there'll be something about what the theme is. No, there's not much information on this one. just that it was an independent film, and it took like 3 years to do, because they only had the 2 dogs. They had their dog, who was the lead character, and then they had another dog, which was a completely different dog, kind of dog, breed of dog, to be the ghost dog. So I guess, considering this took 3 years to film, it's more cohesive than you would expect it to be. I just kind of, I think I would have liked either a lot more dialogue, or a little more of the dog's total point of view. Because even though it is all through the dog's point of view, we're still seeing it from a higher vantage point. I think if they had tied a small camera to the dog's collar, and we actually got a physical dog's point of view, I think that would have upped it a little bit. I did like, I liked this movie. I was just like, there was a few things that were left a little too unanswered. There was a couple of scenes where the character of Indy, the dog, he's inside the car, and the owner is outside the car on the phone to his sister, and it's muffled. You hear words, but you don't understand what they're saying. I would have liked a little more of that through it, because that was kind of like, okay, the dog's point of view. The dog could hear, but he couldn't understand. I think if they had gone a little more with that for some of the dialogue they do have, it would have lended a little more suspense, a little more creepiness, a little more to the confusion, because you are following a dog. It's supposed to be a dog's point of view. Very original. I really liked it. I just personally would have liked 1 or 2 little tweaks to it. So, okay, that was episode 11. And as I said, the bingo task for this episode was to watch a haunted house movie. Again, I don't know how much haunted house. It all takes place in one location. So I guess that's why it was listed as a haunted house movie. Yeah, it's not really a poltergeist movie. It's not really a possession movie. Okay. I have no idea what next week's episode is. None at all. But I will see you next week in the next episode. Until then, creeping screams.